Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Off the Glass podcast. Today, we've got episode number 34 for you, and we're going to be doing a mixed episode today, getting into all things of week 5 in the NFL. And in the back half of the episode, we are going to be doing an Eastern Conference tier list, going through who we think the real contenders are, who we think the playoff locks are. We're going to be those fringe playoff teams, and then who we'll be seeing at the top of the lottery for this upcoming NBA draft. I'm not going to run from it. I'm going to address it head on here. If y'all have been listening for a while, you know I said that I was looking forward to this Sunday night football game, man. I was looking forward to Cowboys, Niners, prime time, revenge game. They've knocked the Cowboys out of the playoffs the last 2 years. And if you're listening, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see it on the screen. I'm going to be real direct. You see it right there in the top left. The Cowboys are not on the 49ers level.
Damn.
It ain't much more to say than that. I know Micah came out today and said that's not how he views it. He thinks that they're in the same tier. He thinks they've got the talent. And all of that can be true, bro. But the way that game went down last night, the way that offense looked, the way their offense looked, as of right now, today, October 9th, 2023, you cannot say that. You cannot say that those two teams are in the same tier of each other. That doesn't mean that, a run happens, you meet them in the playoffs any given Sunday, right? That's football. But right now, today, they're not. You can't put them in the same conversation, bro.
Damn, man. It's crazy, man. That's crazy. Yeah. But, yeah, honestly, bro, the 49ers are the best team in football right now, and it's not even close.
100%.
It's not Eagles. They're better than them right now. I'm sorry. Chiefs, they're better than them right now. The 49ers are on a different level. And then speaking to the Cowboys, we're going to get into the game in a little bit, but just off a broader standpoint of, where they're at as far as teams in the NFC, yeah, I don't know, man. We might have slightly overrated them and slightly not taking into account the competition they play a little bit. Now, I'm not here saying that they're frauds, you know what I mean? I think
they're still a good team, but
right?
It's different when you get into that top tier, and that's been the case for a long time now. Can't never get into that top tier.
Yeah, so I mean, like you said, I still feel like they're obviously playoff locks. Obviously, can have the talent to go deep in the playoffs. But as far as just teams in the NFC right now, you got to put the Niners ahead of them. You got to put the Eagles ahead of them. I've seen people say, yeah, you got to put the Seahawks and the Lions ahead of them. I don't know if I'd go that far. But I see where they're coming from.
I can't be mad at it. I genuinely cannot be mad at it.
I see where they're coming from strictly off the strength of now we know, all right, the team that they played are not good at all. The teams that they beat, Giants. The Giants look like one of the worst teams in football right now. The Patriots look like one of the worst teams in football right now. The Cardinals, who everyone thought was one of the worst teams in football, actually look kind of decent, but they lost to them.
Right.
Who else they beat? The Jets.
They beat the Jets with Zach Wilson.
So it's when you take all that into account now, hindsight, I obviously they didn't play great teams, but like I said, I still think this team is good. I'll let you go in more into the detail about the actual game and what's going on, because I definitely got a lot of takeaways from this game. But I'll let you go first as the Cowboys fan here. So how do you what do you I'm the host now. I'm the host. Let me ask you the question. So what do you think? What went wrong for your Cowboys, man? What happened? Talk to me.
Before I get into, and I'm not even gonna make this a rant because I'm gonna be brief and direct with all my points, because I've had 24 hours now to sit, digest, watch some of it again, and just mull it over, because I knew you were going to get up this morning. You're going to have Stephen A. Smith and First Take and everybody on Fox Sports coming at people's heads. You got Skip Bayless throwing out the Dak Prescott jersey. I feel like that's the 7th time I've seen him make that video.
Literally over and over and over again. Keep buying a new one or taking that one out the trash.
Right. So I'm going to get up here and I'm just going to be direct. I'm going to give you my takeaways as a fan, and then pull that bias back and just realistically, this is what I think about this team. So before I get into all that, if you are on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. If you're listening on audio platforms, be sure to drop a 5-star rating, pre-download the show, and go ahead and follow the socials down there at the bottom at Off the Glass Pod on Instagram and at Off the Glass Podcast on TikTok. So to get to your question, right, what I think went wrong. The biggest things coming into this game was, I think we and most people had a good sense of this defense is elite, right? One of the best defensive units in the NFL across all three, areas. Great front seven, great line, not the deepest linebacking core, but if Leighton is healthy, he's putting in a lot of work there. Secondary, obviously the Diggs injury hurts, but still one of the better secondary units in the NFL with arguably the best defensive coordinator in the NFL. I've had my concerns about play calling and red zone offense and really the offense kind of in general over the last couple of weeks. And I think that is what I was really expecting to see coming into this game. Is I thought I knew what I would get from the defense. Could we get enough from the offense to pull out against a elite opponent and an elite defense? That answer was no. Very quick and blatantly obvious from the jump. But on top of that, defensively, Kyle Shanahan also did whatever he wanted there as well. Like, everything was available to this 49ers team. They dominated the Cowboys in all three phases of the football. Offensively, they were gashing us with their running attack. Christian McCaffrey ended up only rushing for 51 yards. But even when they put Jordan Mason in, he came in and rushed for 70 yards and a touchdown. They got 170 yards on the ground. They averaged almost 4 yards a carry. Brock Purdy comes in the game and tosses 4 touchdowns. 3 of them go to George Kittle. One of them, albeit being on that, reverse, kind of double reverse back to Brock Purdy, kind of a trick play. I think the Lions ran like the exact same play and Sam Laporta scored on earlier. So defensively, the run defense was problematic at times. And I think what Mike McCarthy said coming into the season, right? He wanted to be more in control of the game as a whole. He wanted the offense to be able to, get the ball, drive down the field methodically. Doesn't have to be super fast and just, get points. Doesn't necessarily even have to be 7, but just make sure that he's in control of the game at all times. He gives the defense rest. That did not happen in this game. They were never, ever able as an offense to establish a run game. 57 yards rushing. Tony Pollard ran 8 carries for 29 yards. Rico Dowdle, 5 carries for 15 yards. That obviously partially was hindered by the game script, but even early on, like, there was not anything available in the run game. And probably the biggest reason why, but this 49ers linebacker core is unbelievable. Like, to watch them play the run and the pass as well as they do. And, like, I know Fred Warner, I think, gets the majority of the spotlight, and that's deservedly so. I think he is genuinely the best linebacker in the NFL. And I don't even think there's really an argument for anybody else.
It's not.
Dre Greenlaw he's right there. He's right there in terms of his impact. And again, both phases of the offense. He can play the run, he can play the pass, he can rush the passer, he can drop into coverage and give you fits. There's really no deficiency between either of those guys. And both of them made their presence very felt early on. Fred Warner had the punch out on Pollard, which, watching that replay back, like, the fact that fumble didn't go out of bounds was crazy.
I thought it hit the dude's foot. That was just me, though.
No, he punched it out. It hit Lennar's leg, and then of all the bodies that are falling out of bounds, it took one hop and did not touch any of them and just stayed in bounds long enough for somebody to slide in and grab it, which is unfortunate. But again, you have to credit Fred for making that play. He's everywhere on the field, sideline to sideline. Like the clip of him jumping the CD route at the mesh point, then trailing it, then coming off of it to sack Dak. Like, he is literally
He's a freak,
everywhere.
bro.
It's unbelievable. This the whole defense played phenomenally for them last night. Um, but I mean, Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw to me jumped out on tape the most, and yeah, I really think this West Coast offense that Mike McCarthy brought has limited Dak, limited this offense's production. And it's, again, when you get into situations where you have a game where we need the offense to provide something, right? Because all the games that they've won this year, the offense could have not showed up. Defense won the game. Like, was it 38-3 against the Patriots? That Jets game, like, if you took away that one slant that Zach Wilson hit Garrett Wilson on, they have literally no offense. And then they shut out the Giants. They scored twice. The defense and special teams scored twice
Right.
against the Giants. So it's like in the two games that you've lost where you've needed the offense to come in and step up, well, they put up 16 against the Cardinals and now 10 against the 49ers. In games where you have to have pass plays that hit, because we got into the red zone against the Cardinals, can't run the ball. Granted, the O-line was hurt. It doesn't matter. You have to be able to score in the red zone. You have to be able to pass the ball at some level of efficiently to win games in the NFL, especially against a team as good as the 49ers. These little dink and dunk plays, that's really all that's being called, is not it 24/7. It's great if you're ahead, if you're in rhythm, in spurts, but there's no, like, the Kevontae Turpin touchdown was great. You get him in motion, you get a guy in a one-on-one. It's a great ball from Dak. When did he take another deep shot other than the one that was like the third pick of the game where he just like chucked it to safety?
He just basically punted it. He didn't. He
Is
didn't throw no deep shots.
like, you brought in Brandon Cooks. You have CeeDee Lamb. Like, you have backs who can catch out of the backfield as well. Jake Ferguson has looked great. Like, this offense has to open up a little bit more. I understand you're concerned with Dak and you want to keep him, relatively simple. You don't want to make it where he has to turn to his gunslinger throwing 40, 50 times a game, because that was Mike McCarthy's biggest complaint with Kellen Moore. I get all of that. But curls, hitches, and slants, bro, are not going to win games in the NFL in 2023.
There's a reason why. Let's just say you look at Justin Jefferson, right? When the year before Kevin O'Connell got there, good numbers, great receiver, doing his thing. There's a reason why as soon as Kevin O'Connell got there with that Sean McVay offense, the motion, the getting your guys in open space, there's a reason why he just took off. Like, obviously, yeah, he got better. He's a good player, but there's a reason why. It's not just a coincidence to get there and then boom. There's a reason why the Chargers now, they always had a good offense, but now it's like, oh my God, Keenan Allen looks like the 26-year-old Keenan Allen. He's in motion. They're getting open. He looks like it's coming easy. There's like older offenses where there's no motion. Everyone's just standing there. I think Dan Orlovsky said it perfectly. He was just like, line up and boom, I'm going to out execute you. It's like, it's not going to work against people that are on the same level or better than you. Yeah, it's going to work against these terrible defenses, these terrible teams when you're up by a lot of points. But when you actually need to score points, like you said, like, you're not just going to out execute people all the time. Like, you need to do things to put your best players in open space, give your best players an advantage offensively. And like, Mike McCarthy just doesn't do that. Like, the offense just looks old. It looks like predictable. Like, it's just, we're gonna line up and we're gonna run the offense. It's no motion. It's no let's get CeeDee Lamb a mismatch. Let's get CeeDee Lamb in motion. Let's get CeeDee Lamb in open space. It's none of that. None of that at all. And it's funny because, like, when you look on the other side of the ball, it's like there's a reason why it looks like Brandon Ayuk and Kittle and Debo run wide open. It's not because the Cowboys just forget about them. Like they get
It's
schemed up that way.
right.
Like they get schemed up to have open looks.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it works out. You know what I mean? When you're a good offensive play caller, that's what you do for your best players. You can get them the ball and give them an advantage basically offensively. But so yeah, that's what stood out to me. The play calling was just very, it looked like an old school playbook. Like that's what it looked
Yes.
like. It looked old school. And that's not gonna work against the best that's against the best defense in football.
Right.
That's not, it's not gonna work like that. So offensively, that was the problem. Yes, Dak, he had his struggles. The play calling did not help that. He did have his struggles though. He put the ball in harm's way too many times.
Mm-hmm.
Basically the punt interception. It's
And
cool if it's 3rd and 15, like that's fine, like is what it is. But like
right.
that, I think it was 1st and 10. Like
Right.
it was legitimately first down. But
The game is over at that point, but like it's never a good read because I sat up here and dragged Josh Allen for basically doing that exact same thing. You force in a
yeah,
post when the corner is trailing it like on his hip, and there's still a safety over the top. What could you possibly have seen in the coverage to make you throw that pass?
it's just boom. I'm just trying to force it, and it's no point. There's no point of doing that. But like I said, it's it's not 100% on Dak. There's a lot. He does take a big blame, but
Mm-hmm.
Mike McCarthy's not helping. Like you got Brandon Cooks for what? Like you could have just not. I can't tell that you
Can,
got
can,
Brandon Cooks in this
can
game.
he not run the same route that Kevontae Turpin ran? Can we not start him in the slot? A little jet motion across, stutter fade. These are not complicated things, bro. Every NFL team does stuff like this. The one time you ran it, you scored, and it was a great pass by Dak.
Yeah,
Like, why is it that this offense, like, it feels so vanilla? That's almost like the best word I
you're not
have to
for real.
describe it. Like,
It
it
does.
is so like you got training wheels on for a quarterback that's been starting since like this was like his 8th year as a starter, bro.
Hey man, listen, you about one step away from looking like my Steelers right now.
Like I just I came into the year with my concerns about Mike McCarthy coming in as a play caller. Right, the defense was great, it looked great from day one. I mean, I think they're still a phenomenal defensive unit, but the 49ers are just like you said, I think they are genuinely the best team in football right now. So if you run into a game where your defense is not going to hold the team to 10 points and you can't get more than 10 points, like it's never going to be a recipe for success. So I think, like you said, some of the blame I cannot absolve all of it from Dak. Like I said, this is like we're like year 8 as a starter now. We're week 5 of this brand new system. We got to get comfortable. You're a veteran quarterback. You've always lived on that fringe top tier level, right? Like, bro, checks, audibles, kills, cans, alerts, like something. We've got to find something that works if the play calling is not it. I just watched Kenny Pickett do that. I just watched Kenny Pickett dial up a touchdown. He out here on the line of scrimmage yelling Randy, 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 and put George Pickens on a fade. At some point, yes, it's the play calling, but I cannot absolve it all from you
Yeah.
because I know it's built in. I know you and Mike got a good relationship. We got to find something. And on top of that, it doesn't help when all y'all are running are these low, short, intermediate routes. And then when you're down by 28 and the Niners know you have to pass the ball, you got backers just dropping into these nice little hook zones and they're jumping into all these hitch windows and slant windows. You're throwing it right at Drake Greenlaw's face. Passes are getting tipped and getting picked off. The third one, like I said, that deep post that you're just basically throwing a punt up. Like it's clear this is not an offense that really is designed. I mean, it's kind of embarrassing to say it, but this is not like an offense that's designed to score points.
No, it's an offensive design to let the defense win you games.
Right.
That's what it is.
And no offense that's designed like that is going to win games.
Y'all too talented to have that type of offense. Like, there's
That's
a
what really pains me, bro.
it's like,
Because are are we not gonna sit up here and act like we haven't seen Dak be able to be in an offense that is like super vertical down the field? He's stretching the field out. I mean, early in his career, this man used to go toe to toe with Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs. He's accidentally left him too much time on the clock.
bro, at the end of the day, you cannot dumb down the offense and hurt your whole team because you're scared of letting your quarterback make a mistake. If you can't just run a normal offense to win games and because you're worried about your quarterback, you have the wrong quarterback. Like,
Right.
that's the problem. If you cannot play how you're supposed to play to win games, you have the wrong guy at quarterback. It's that simple. Because no one's dumbing down plays for these elite top tier quarterbacks. You're not dumbing down the playbook for them. The playbooks that get dumbed down are for the guys that just are not the guy, like Daniel Jones. You know what I mean? Dak Prescott right now. It's like those guys. If he's elite, if he's worth all this money, he's able to take you to the next level. You don't need to dumb down the playbook for him.
This is what I'll say. If what was the Cowboys record last year? Either way, I don't remember off the top of my
What they won
head.
like
It's
11
like
games, something like
11
that.
or 12 wins, whatever. Um, if this was a team that was good enough to basically be in contention for the um the NFC East in a year where the Eagles were as dominant as they were, they finished 12-5. Yeah, so if last year with Kellen Moore calling plays and having the offense be as it is, and Dak threw 15 picks in the 11, 12 games that he played, albeit again, a lot of them were off of tips and deflections, and not all of them were his fault. If that's how it looked when the offense was that way, and then we get into the 49ers game and he played poorly. There's no way around it. He had a bad game. The interceptions that he threw were a big reason why that game was lost. It feels like this is such an absurd overcorrection. Like 12 wins. And again, as good as the defense played in that NFC was a divisional game last year,
Mm-hmm.
like if Dak is just a little bit more protective of the football, a couple of plays here and there, like that game go an entirely different way. So to have that season and how, again, like the interception numbers tell a story, but the tape tells a different one. Granted, he had some turnover worthy plays last year. I don't think he was the best at protecting the football, but I do think it was blown out of proportion to some extent, because I think you can go back and watch all of those interceptions. You'll see a good number of them are not purely Dak's fault. So to have all of that come in, you get rid of Kellen Moore, you bring in Mike McCarthy. A lot of what he's saying I can't agree with in terms of a balanced offense and like trying to establish a run game and not having it where it's so fast paced and so vertical. Like you want it to be more of a balanced attack. You want it to have it in a position where you have more control over the game as a whole. That is not what we're seeing. We're seeing an offense that is incapable of really putting fear in any if I was any one of the defensive coordinators in the NFL, this offense doesn't scare me not one bit.
No,
This
not
looks
at
like
all.
this looks like Ask Madden, bro.
No, it does. It looks basic. It
We
looks
run in slants, we
draconian.
run in spacing, we run in hitches, like bro, the most bare bones stuff ever. And if there's no run game, what do we have? Like we have nothing, nothing to put fear into any team. And I understand the whole West Coast philosophy. I get all of that. That does not mean you do not have plays to take shots to at least make teams be scared of something vertical. If they have nothing to be scared of deep, what stops them from doing like what they did and just, bro, we just gonna have our linebackers sitting here. They're gonna sit in the run gaps. If they read pass, they're just taking like 2 steps into their zones. And now they're sitting right in those windows for those slants, for those hitches. And they just can make plays from there. Like it's bad. It's bad. And the last thing I'll say about the Cowboys, bro, is like I said, this is a team that going into this game, we were going to learn a lot about them from how they perform. And I think there is one, like, you can have any of the number of takeaways you want. I feel like everybody that watched that game should have the exact same major takeaway. As of right now, this Cowboys team, when we talk about the top teams in the NFC, bro, leave them out. You
Yeah.
have to leave them out because there's a clear tier above them, minimally just with the 49ers. I think the 49ers right now are in a tier of their own. If we're just talking about the NFC, you have to put the 49ers in front of them. You have to put the Eagles in front of them. I think it's fair to people want to say you want to put the Lions and potentially the Seahawks up there. Like, from what they've put on tape, from how those offenses look, how can I at least not hear that argument out?
Yeah. It's true. It's tough, man,
Right.
because as hyped as we were coming, like these first couple weeks, it's crazy how, like, when you actually play it like a legit offense, a legit team, it's just things changing, man, and it's annoying because, like you said, to me it seems like it's becoming a waste of talent too. Because
No, it
what
is.
what you guys have offensively and the philosophy of what Mike McCarthy talking about, we said it in the offseason. It did not make sense. We want to be this slow, pound the rock, protect the ball team. You have no power back. You have you added Brandon Cooks, which is like, okay, this is gonna help the passing game. You still have CD Lamb, who's just getting better. It's like the personnel you guys have fit Kellen Moore's system way more than what Mike McCarthy was trying to do.
Yeah.
So to me, it just never made sense. So yeah, before I leave it, I do want to give credit because honestly, man, I never was the biggest Brock Purdy guy.
No,
I never.
I want to spend a couple of minutes on the Niners.
Yeah, for sure. That's what I was saying. Like, I definitely don't want to leave it without talking about the 49ers because
Right.
Brock Purdy impressed me. Like,
Yeah.
I I I was somewhere in between. He's just, this is the system and he's just a guy,
Mm-hmm.
and people talking about, yeah, he's great. He's the next Tom Brady. Like, I was somewhere in the middle. I was
Right.
like, he can you can win games. Can you win a Super Bowl? I don't know. Probably. You might be able to win a Super Bowl with me in there. I don't know. They're stacked. But no,
Right.
like, legitimately, he showed me some stuff that game. Like, he made some throws that I was like, okay, that's a real above average to solid to good NFL quarterback throw.
Right.
Like, over the linebacker, that throw when it was like over the linebacker, but in between the safety to Ayuk across the middle, I'm like, okay, that was a dime. Like, he made some good throws. He was
Mm-hmm.
poised. Even when the pressure was in his face, he stepped up, made some good throws. He showed me something. Like, Brock Purdy is a legit quarterback, and that just means that this Niners team is, bro, I don't know how you beat them, bro. I'm gonna be honest.
Right.
I do
Yeah.
not, because in a game where Christian McCaffrey was okay, especially by his standards, he was okay. I don't think Debo did much either. It's like they have so many weapons. They're so creative. Like, you never, bro. They ran a slant for the fullback. I'm like, bro, anybody could come out of the backfield and be a playmaker, bro. Like,
Yep.
George Kittle was like so all year. Boom, big game. Like, it could be anybody. Just step up at any moment.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, as long as Brock Purdy keeps playing this well and not making mistakes, his defense keeps playing great, bro. This is by far the best team in football. It's not even close right now.
Right. I'm gonna sit. I'm gonna look right into the camera here because I came up here after week one, and I said, "Bro, Ayuk, Debo, CMC, it don't matter. Hey, y'all got it. Y'all are the real deal. It's clear to me y'all are the best team in the NFC. GG's. I'm gonna give y'all's props because it's deserved. I ain't never gonna let my fandom overtake what should be just clear and obvious as a ball knower, but like just watching the game, like you cannot. I don't know how you can really make an argument for another team right now to say that they're the best team in the NFL. Because right, it's only them and the Eagles that are last undefeated teams left.
Yeah.
And the Eagles have not looked great. Like every single game, they have deficiencies. They do
They have weaknesses.
right.
Yeah.
They do make the plays that they need when it's needed to get, which is part of the telltale signs of a championship DNA team. But the 49ers don't even get in those situations. When are
No.
they ever in a situation to feel like, aside from that Rams game, which was tight, but they were never behind, like they've been pretty comfortable the whole season against some decent comp. Like
Brock Purdy has never lost, bro. Like he's never lost a game that he didn't
Yeah.
have to leave early, obviously, because he
Right.
couldn't throw the ball.
Yeah.
Like he's never lost. Like, bro, I
Yeah.
don't. There's no way you could like. There's no way you could tell me right now that some team is better than this team right now. It's impossible. I'm not hearing it.
Yeah. Like you said about Brock, I think, and everybody in news, I think rightfully so, skeptical about, well, look at the pieces around him. Look at the O line. Look at their defense. Like, all he has to do is not suck, and this team will win games. But when does he doesn't miss throws often. Like, not even necessarily it's like, oh, we have to have this throw. It just is like they dial up a shot, it's open, he hits it. It feels like he consistently is spreading the ball around to all of their playmakers when their number is being called. When Kyle Shanahan dials up whatever the big reverse play to Kittle, hits him in stride. When he needs to hit Ayuk on a deep corner or a deep post, it's there, it's on time. I'm looking at him flatten passes. He's turning posts almost into really deep digs to undercut safeties. Like, there's a deeper level of nuance to how he's distributing the ball than just like Kyle Shanahan is scheming it up for him to eliminate the thought, eliminate the talent, just be like, this is your read. If it's there, you take it. It's no, he's playing quarterback at a high level right now. He's
100%.
obviously aided by the weapons around him and aided by the fact that Christian McCaffrey is the best running back in football right now, one of the most dynamic players in football right now. But I cannot I can't say all of that to take away from Brock, because Brock is also a big reason why their offense is moving as efficiently as it is, because it's all these throws are not just clear cut throws. Some of these Ayuk balls that he was hitting last night are in tight windows, in coverage. The ball has to be pinpoint at a spot, and it's there. It's on time when it needs to be. So Brock is playing phenomenal football right now. Like I said, he threw for 4 touchdowns. I think this was his first 4 touchdown game of his career on a defensive unit, like I said, which I still think is one of the best in football. So I genuinely, to what you said, I don't know how you beat this 49ers team. I see 0 holes. Nothing looks like exploitable. His secondary is playing out of their mind. Deshaun Gibson is playing great. Hufunga is playing great. Corners are playing great. I think they are, like I said, they have the best linebacking duo in the NFL right now. Their pass rush is unbelievable. Their run defense from their front 7 is sensational. Like, I don't even have enough adjectives to describe the defense. And it's like CMC, Debo, Ayuk, Kittle, Juice Check, like you said, coming out of the backfield and scoring. There's so much talent on this roster across the board. And then they also probably have like a top 3 or 4 O-line in the NFL.
The only team that I could see that even stands a chance to beat this team. Now, I'm not gonna say stand a chance because you never know. Pat Mahomes is the GOAT.
Right.
Who knows? The only team who I can see just beat this team or is on this level from a pure talent perspective is the Eagles, just because their O line is the best O line in football. So they probably will still be able to get at least some type of running game that can help open up the pass game a little bit. But like you said, they have weaknesses on the back end on their defense. So even if their offense is doing all right, like I can see those 49ers having their way with the Eagles secondary right now, because the way they're playing, that Eagles secondary is giving it up to any and everybody. So yeah, they're the best team in football. I don't even know what more we can say about it, bro.
We can leave it there because we spent a good amount of time on it. But that's the 2 biggest takeaways. If you had to take 2 away from this game, are that the Cowboys are not in that tier, and as of right now, until further notice, they do not need to be mentioned as such. And the Niners are the best team in football as of right now, barring anything moving forward. I don't know what you can do to beat this football team.
What would you do if like y'all put in like Trey Lance? He started going crazy. He started like dying up.
I'd be
Right.
sick because if Trey Lance comes in and makes this system work, I don't know. All the years of Dak defending that I've done, I think he's over scrutinized, would just make me be like, well, dang, guess I've been analyzing it all wrong.
Man, yeah, that's wild.
Yeah. And the Cowboys, the last thing I'll say on this, and then we're moving on for sure. Their schedule does not get any easier.
Who they play?
Chargers at Chargers on Monday night. I think this is Monday night. Yeah.
It's gonna be a good one.
Yep. Kellen Moore is going to be feeling some type of way. Oh,
He gonna hang
I'm
like
already.
70 on ya. He gonna try to hang 70 on ya.
I'm expecting I can't even say I'm expecting a shootout because, bro, they put up 21. That might be wraps. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, that is true.
like I don't
To
even
be fair, the
know.
Chargers defense sucks.
They do, but
They suck.
so the Cardinals defense was supposed to suck too.
I'm not gonna lie, if y'all can't put it together offensively against the Chargers defense, there is a huge problem, bro. That
Right.
Chargers defense is terrible.
Yeah. But at the Chargers, then you play the Rams, then you go to Philly. You do get the Giants again and then the Panthers, but then you got Commanders, Seahawks, Eagles, at Buffalo, at Miami versus the Lions.
That's a gauntlet, bro.
Gauntlet. With you get a little 2-game, stretch there to recuperate against the Giants and the Panthers. But that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 games. 9 of those 11 next games are against very good. 7 of them are against very good NFC opponents, and you've got 2 of the best teams in the AFC.
Yeah, good luck. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, and you know what? They're gonna need it. They're gonna need it. If his offense does not improve, I think I've been good on Mike McCarthy. I would be so good on Mike McCarthy if this offense does not get any better. Because what's the excuse at this point? If you felt some type of way about Kellen Moore's scheme and his system and his play calling, and then you come in and it gets this bad, it looks this bad, that it feels like if the defense not even just stops, if the defense doesn't score. The 2 games that we lost, the defense didn't score. All 3 that we did, every single game that you've won, the defense or the special teams has scored points.
You're relying too much on the defense. Like, I get it, you can play through the defense. You're relying on the defense at this point to score and give you a good field position. That's not always gonna happen. Everything's not gonna be perfect, bro. Not everybody's gonna be the
field
freaking
position
Giants.
right now does not even seem like enough, bro. Because you get on the ball on the 5-yard line, it might just be a field goal.
That is true.
Like, yeah, I'm gonna take the fan hat off and get off this train. But yeah, this next stretch of game for Dallas with the Vander Esch injury, hopefully he can recover because he's had a long string of neck issues, and then to see how that went down last night, and it was like inadvertent, like Micah kind of ran into the top of his helmet, but
yeah,
it's just unfortunate. So hopefully he's okay. In the short term and the long term, it's nothing too serious there, but it's going to be a very rough stretch for this team. So I don't think I'm overreacting at all when I say like this could get ugly. This could get very ugly. I would hope it doesn't as a fan, but I cannot deny that it looks like it's going to get rough.
Y'all gonna miss the playoffs?
Hey, if the offense keeps playing like this, even if we did make the playoffs, it would not matter because any of those other playoff teams that's going to make it out the NFC, it's not going to be that easy, bro.
I think y'all good. Y'all not gonna miss the playoffs.
I hope not, but this is a tough stretch of games for.
I think y'all gonna at the end of like you said it, like the defense is still elite. Like obviously they just it's a bad coming off the game where they just like got 42 hung on them, but they're still elite, bro. The 49ers are just like we said the best team, so it's gonna make it look even worse. They're gonna win a couple of those games. They're not just gonna go on a crazy losing streak, in my opinion.
Yeah, we'll see, but they have hurt me bad, man, hurt me bad. But the pain that I feel as a Cowboys fan right now, I imagine is not as bad as what Patriots fans are feeling right now for a franchise that has really been spoiled for multiple decades, is in a position right now where, bro, this
They're a poverty franchise, bro.
Bro.
I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I'm gonna be honest. They're so Brady made, and it's not even funny, bro. It's so Brady made. Like y'all
This
lucked into the greatest quarterback ever. And y'all happen to go on. Y'all was a dynasty. Don't get me wrong. Like y'all was unbeatable. Y'all was a dynasty. Before that, y'all were nothing. After that, y'all are nothing. Bill Belichick
mhm.
without Brady is a great defensive mind. Has nothing. He doesn't know anything when it comes to offense. I'm be
No.
honest. He doesn't knows nothing. It's like, bro, y'all are low. Y'all are a poverty franchise in disguise, bro. Brady just masked all that. Like that's why I hate when people bring up like, oh, the best franchises in NFL, Patriots, and did it. No, Brady. Put Brady up there. Say Brady. Don't say the Patriots. Say Brady. Y'all have nothing before him, and y'all will get nothing after him, bro. Patriots, no. Y'all deserve on this terrible offense. Y'all deserve this for years, bro. Y'all got blessed.
This offense is, bro, disgusting.
It's terrible to watch, bro.
Disgusting.
It's
Do you
terrible
know how many rushing yards Ramondre Stevenson has through
on
the
the year.
first 5 games of the season?
Mm.
Just take a guess.
150, 200.
188.
That's bad. That's so
Bro.
bad, bro. They
And
might have
that's
the worst skill group, like skill position group in the entire NFL.
I think it's not even close, bro. This all of their skill positions. Their number one receiver is Devontae Parker, and it's like really no disrespect, bro,
In
but like
2023 is crazy.
right,
Their best offensive like pass catcher is Hunter Henry.
right, and bro is consistent. He got fantasy value strictly off of that, but like real world, no, bro,
They're
no.
bad. They're so bad. It's disgusting to watch, bro. But like I
They're
said, y'all got blessed. Y'all got blessed for years. This what y'all get. This is what happens when you sell your soul.
it is.
You see, the Bulls never recovered. This is what happened when you sell your soul. You got to
Uh,
deal with the consequences.
they their offense has put up 13 points in the last 3 games.
Come on,
Yes, they
yo,
in,
that's bad.
in total, their offense has put up through the first 5 games. So that's 20 quarters of football. They've scored 50 points.
What is in a weird way? What does that kind of tell you about the Eagles? Because they was dotting the Eagles up. Maybe was that like just like a week one, anything could happen, fluky week one thing, or like
I think that's a part of it, but I do generally think this Eagles secondary is exploitable, which was shown even this past week, like we said, against this Rams team, getting
yeah,
Cooper Kupp back. We saw him and Puka, they're going
lighting
off.
them up.
I think that is going to be the weak point and potentially a downfall for this Eagles roster was what they lost this offseason in their secondary. And it just you can't really fill those gaps that guys like CJ Gardner Johnson were putting on for you last year. You know, there's not many people that can replace that kind of output. And when you already are this deep in terms of how much money you've shelled out at other positions, you need guys on low value deals to be able to step up, and that just hasn't been the case. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, the Patriots are averaging less than a field goal in terms of points per quarter this year.
they. I don't. Yo, bro, they got to do something, bro. You know what they got to do? I tell you what, Bill Belichick has to stop being a GM because he doesn't know how to pick them
I
at
agree.
all. He does not know how to pick offensive talent. He great defensive mastermind. I get it. Like he really is. I'm never gonna take that away from him. But offensively, and then as a decision maker in general, like you made what's his face be you made a defensive coordinator call plays for you guys
That
last
was
year. Like
crazy.
that was that was ridiculous. What do you think was gonna happen for your second year quarterback? So let's just stop his whole development. Let's just waste a whole year of that.
Yep.
Like, and then you give him no weapons. That's what I said, bro. They're honestly like I wasn't joking when I said they're really Brady made, and I really mean that from the standpoint of like, y'all got so used to Brady taking 6th rounder, 7th rounder, this no name
Right.
5'9" white guy.
Quarterback turned receiver.
Yeah,
Do become a Pro Bowler. Like
yeah, like yeah, so used to Brady turning him into like, oh, this great player. That's like, okay, maybe our system, we could put anybody in there. It was not the system. Brady was just that good that he could make
right.
that work. When you have someone who's not on that level, you need to actually give them weapons so they can actually, compete. can't bring him Devontae Parker in 2023 and Juju. Like, what is that, bro? Come on. You're not even helping this dude out. Don't get me wrong. Mac Jones, I don't even like Mac Jones. He keep punching people in the nuts.
Yo,
I don't like Mac Jones at all. And I don't even think he's that good. But you're not helping him. So, yeah, I don't know. Belichick got to stop being a GM. They need to find a way to get actual offensive talent in that organization, because right now what they got is not cutting it, and how they've been doing it with these drafts and everything, not cutting it, bro. I'm
no,
sorry.
not at all. And we went this whole time. Look, we didn't even say, bro. They played the Saints yesterday and lost 34-0. Mac Jones ended up getting benched, I think, sometime late in the third. After throwing 2 picks. I think one of them was a pick 6, right?
Yeah.
Like 12 for 22, 110 yards, 2 picks, bro. Hit a QBR of 7. Like
That's crazy.
on the season, he has a QBR of 40. Um, like I can't even fault Mac Jones. Like I think there are people that are coming for his head, but I think you really hit the nail on the head in terms of what's really the issue here is like what quarterback that's not Tom Brady, Pat Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, like all-time great level of good could come in and like make this inefficient or effective offense with the lack of weapons that they have.
There's none. No one get. If you watch a Patriots game, they don't get open. Like, these guys get no separation. Even Devontae Parker in his prime was never a separation guy. He was a
He
contested
was
catch guy.
never a one until he got here.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he was never that guy. So for him to be your leading receiver, this offense has no explosiveness. Yeah, best player offensively is Ramondre, and Bill Belichick is like, yo, we love Zeke. Let's just keep getting Zeke carries. Let's get Zeke in here. It's like you're not even feeding into your best player on offense, and like you can't get nothing going run the ball. No, this is one of the worst teams in the league, because now you got Judon that's out. You got what's his name, Christian Gonzalez, that's out for the
Out
season,
for the season,
unfortunately,
yeah.
who was playing very, very well. So even your strength is now not even really your strength, because you're missing key guys on the defensive side of the ball. So at this point, you might as well tank for Caleb. Like, every team that's not winning the Super Bowl, tank for Caleb, bro.
Might as well. You genuinely might as well.
Even though I hope you
Um,
don't go there. Y'all don't deserve him. But still, like, you're not going nowhere, bro. I'm sorry.
and they asked Bill Belichick after the presser, who, in typical Bill Belichick fashion, was giving his like 1 to 3 word responses because out of frustration after the game. But they basically asked him, like, where do y'all go from here? 1-4. His offense looks awful, arguably the worst in the NFL. And he just said, we have to start over. Very vague. The guy asked, try to get into more detail. The reporter did. He basically just repeated himself and was like, we got to start over. I don't know what that means. Do you want to try to interpret what starting over means in week 6 of the NFL season? Like, what can you possibly do other than you bench Mac? But again, I don't think he's the problem. What is Bailey Zappi going to do? Like, genuinely, what is Bailey Zappi? He came in and looked just as bad. This offense is not good. I don't know where they go from here. Like you said, with the injuries to their defense, and even if their defense was healthy, bro, their offense is giving points. Their offense is giving away points. He
Yeah.
threw 2 pick sixes against the Cowboys. He threw 1 against the he had a pick 6 and a scoop and score against the Cowboys, and then against the Saints, he throws a pick 6. Like, they cannot. It doesn't matter if their defense plays great or not. Their offense is basically giving away points, either literally or just through turnovers. Like, I don't know what you could start over other than full on tank.
I'm about to say that's the only. There's no start over. There's no switch y'all can flip to change the season around. There's no personnel change. There's no coaching change. There's nothing. You made your bed. Now you have to lie in it for this season. So at the end of the day, you really might as well tank, because, like, if Mac Jones was in a situation like the 49ers, which is not saying a lot because there's a lot of quarterbacks that can go to 49ers. They can be good. He'll be
Right.
fine. If Mac Jones was just in any situation like the Lions, I feel like Mac Jones could be solid if he was on the Lions.
Mm-hmm.
He's not. Like, this is not the organization for him. This is not the type of offense. Like, he needs actual weapons around him. So, like, you having this guy who, one, is a statue, and two, you also don't give him weapons. Like, it's never gonna work out, bro. Unless you just guys get an influx of offensive talent. This whole Mac Jones and the Patriots stuff is never gonna work out. So, I also think that they're one of the teams that it's just very old, very outdated offensively. It's very dry, bland. Like, people got to realize now that these older defensive coaches are like just these guys who don't really know offense. It's just not the way the NFL is going now. Like, you see the not the Mike McCarthy, Jesus Christ, definitely not him. The
Yeah.
what's his face? Dolphins head coach
Mike McDaniel.
Mike McDaniel. Yeah, you see like the Mike McDaniels, Kevin O'Connell's. Like, these guys are new, innovative offensive minds coming in. Like, that's the way to go right now. Not old defensive, play slow, tough, run the ball. It's not gonna work now. It's just not.
There are not very many defensive-minded coaches whose teams are performing at an exceptionally high level.
Only person I could think of is Sean McDermott.
That's one. I think you could honestly make an argument right now for DeMeco Ryans in Houston as well.
Yeah.
And a lot of that, big shout out to CJ Stroud. I know we'll get into that in the rapid recap, but this dude does not look like a rookie, bro. He looks like a seasoned veteran quarterback.
He's a top half elite quarterback already.
Easily, bro. If y'all have not watched the QB School on YouTube, shout out to him. Y'all need to go and just literally pick any of the weeks he's done on CJ Stroud. Just take 20 minutes out of your day, watch that. Bro, his throws are unreal. Like, watching them from the wide view, his footwork, everything is buttery smooth. The fundamentals are there. And his timing and anticipation, like I said, is like well beyond what you would expect for a rookie, even out of a top 2 pick. Like, he looks very, very good. And I think RG3 said he thought he was like a top 5 quarterback already.
And like, that's a little too much.
I think that's crazy, but like, he's trending that way quickly. Like,
if he said 10, I'd hear you out. I'd still say it's too early, but I'd be like, okay. He is playing like it right now, though. I think he's, what is he, like top 3 or 4 in passing yards in the league, something like that.
Still hasn't thrown a pick.
Exactly, yeah. He set the record for amount of like attempts without an interception. And doing this without a good O-line. The O-line's been injured most of the season. Like, he's still been poised, getting his playmakers the ball, making Nico Collins look like an elite receiver, which honestly he's a really good receiver, but still. Tank Dell's been playing well. It's like
Dalton Schultz has finally come alive as like that security blanket. He's been getting a lot more receptions than he did the first 2-3 weeks of the season. I think he scored last week as well. So it's like he's moving the ball around. Like, he looks really, really good. As much as we like try to cut other quarterbacks slack for O-line deficiencies, bro, he's like, I don't care. It's not phasing him. He's going out and he's hooping week in, week out. So shout out to CJ Stroud, bro. He's really doing it. With that, you want to get into this week's rapid recap for week 5.
Oh, yeah. Let's do it. Mike just cut out. The rapid recap is fun, man. The mic is definitely still muted.
Are we back?
We back in business, baby.
Cool. Let me cue the music up. We're going to get into the rapid recap for week 5 of the NFL season.
This is so gas.
This should be a good level. I'm going to start at Thursday Night Football. Bears go and get their first win in almost a full calendar year. They pretty much beat down on the Commanders, win 40-20. Justin Fields also tosses, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, almost throws for 300 yards. Were we too early on the Justin Fields slander?
What I'll say is this Washington secondary might be the worst secondary in football. Their rookie Forbes is getting torched by everybody. He's too small right now.
He's getting cooked by good number one receivers, which is tough. But
the coach is not helping put him on an island against these guys who are literally just physically just stronger than him. And it's just he's getting torched. DJ Moore, crazy game, but Justin Fields looks really good as a passer right now.
He looks a lot better. And hey, do you know what I think played a part into it? They didn't just have him be a statue back there. 11 carries for 57 yards. He's moving the pocket. You see, why was that so hard, bro? Y'all saw it work last year. Why are we trying to take it out of the offense?
He should always get at least like 8 carries a game, minimum.
Right. Shout out to the Bears. Shout out to Bears fans. Y'all deserve to win because going almost 365 without one is crazy.
It's ridiculous work.
Second game of the NFL in London series for this year, the Josh Allen versus Josh Allen Bowl. The Jaguars go, and they beat the Bills 25-20 behind a monster, and I mean monster day from Travis Etienne, who I think this is his second highest career rushing game. And his first career rushing game was also in London, so clearly he likes playing across the pond. He goes for 136 yards and 2 carries on this Bills defense. So both teams 3-2 now in the AFC.
You could my takeaway is one, you could run the ball against this Bills defense. Travis Etienne is really good though. Like he's one of the top backs in the league. He is nice. The Jaguars, I like that they're finally using their playmakers, and their playmakers are stepping up. Like Calvin really had a big game.
Yeah.
I feel like their playmakers have kind of been underwhelming. Like Calvin really has some drops. They just haven't really been playing that great. So I'm glad to see them actually playing well. Even though Trevor Lawrence tried to throw his game away, he needs to protect the ball, especially in the red zone. He tried to throw the game away. But Bills just had a lot of injuries, but it was definitely a good win for the Jaguars.
Yeah, he's got to chill with the fumbling, but the ball is getting spread around. Ridley, Kirk, Etienne, Evan Ingram, Zay Jones all getting in on the action as receivers in this one. Jags looking like they turned around after what seemed to be a slow start. Falcons go out and get a big win, 21-19 against the Texans. Desmond Ridder responds to a lot of the criticism. He has a very solid day. Throws 28 for 37 and a touchdown. Bijan, bro's a freak. Bro is a freak athlete. He looks like he's just like having fun playing backyard football out there.
He's playing basketball out there, bro. He's crossing people up.
Behind the back.
It's
like, crazy.
He's so fun to watch, bro. I love watching Bijan play football.
Kyle Pitts, 7 catches for 87 yards. Do we think that they're finally figuring out that he's on the field or no?
No. I know. It was purely a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity because they like Jonnu Smith more than they like Kyle Pitts. But I would say Desmond Ridder played very well. Very, very well. They finally let him throw the ball. So that was good to see. So play well. Happy for him.
Definitely. Next one, we got the Lions 4-1 for the first time. And I think over 12 or 13 years, their best start to the season in well over a decade. They whoop up on the Panthers 42-24. Jared Goff tosses 3 touchdowns. David Montgomery runs over 100 yards and has a rushing touchdown as well. This offense is clicking on all cylinders.
Yeah, man. There's nothing more I can say than they're just playing well, bro. It's that simple. They're a young team. They look like they're having fun out there. Dan Campbell, you'll run through a brick wall for them. Mm-hmm. They're playing well. There's nothing more I can say.
Definitely. NFC North runs through Detroit. I think I can say that pretty comfortably right now.
I knew they were good. I obviously would have picked them to win the division, but I didn't think it was going to be them running away with it like this. It's their division to lose by far.
Definitely. Colts go out and beat the Titans 23-16 in Jonathan Taylor's return. Shout out to them. They finally got that contract situation sorted out. He was obviously on a pitch count, but Zach Moss, 23 carries for 165 and 2 touchdowns. Is this a little two-headed snake they've got brewing here in Indianapolis?
All I want to say is, off season, Jonathan Taylor, pay me Nah, we're not gonna pay you. You're not worth it. I'm not paying running backs. Trade me. All right, we're gonna trade you, but we need you're valuable. You're a top back. We need all the assets. Cool, come back. Running backs is replaceable, right? Zach Moss hooping, going crazy, 100-yard games, 150-yard games. We'll pay you now. I think we could use you. Huh?
I don't understand it either.
Bro, I don't get me wrong. I'm happy he got paid, but it's like
the logic isn't there.
It's not. Zach Moss is literally proving your point. If there was any time to double down and not pay him, it'd be now. But I'm happy he got paid. They got a nice little 1-2 combo over there. Hopefully AR gets healthy because I think he's gonna miss like a few weeks. He might even go on IR.
Yeah. Hey, we need to start sliding. We need to stop taking these hits, bro.
Oh yeah, for sure. But honestly, when you really think about it though, and this is why I wanted them to pay Jonathan Taylor so bad, just the running attack between Anthony Richardson and Jonathan Taylor.
Disgusting.
On, bro. And he has a cannon, so it's not like he can't throw. He just got to refine that a little bit, bro. This Colts future is super bright, bro.
Definitely. The Dolphins set the 3 fastest miles per hour marks all in the same game. I think 2 of them were Tyreek Hill. One of them was Devon Achane. They beat the Giants 31-16. Tyreek Hill puts up 181 yards and a touchdown. Achane goes for 11 carries, 151. This offense is ridiculous. I understand it was the Giants, but bro, they're putting up stupid video game numbers right now.
My takeaway is that Achane is doing this on so little carries. It's insane how bro, I think he's averaging a first down every time he touches the ball.
Yeah, he's averaging 12 yards a carry right now.
He doesn't even look obviously he looks fast. He doesn't look as fast as he really is. Tyreek Hill, when he's running, you see it. It's Achane is just he's just chilling and he's gone, bro. Miami is by far, personally, the most fun team to watch. Not even just because I got some of them on my fantasy team, but just in general, I love watching Miami play. It's so fun.
Yeah, it is a very, very exciting brand of football. I don't even have much to say here. I'm going to let you take it away. Steelers 17, Ravens 10. Well, how we feel?
That's that Steelers win right there. That grit, that grind, that's tough it out. Listen, man, Ravens-Steelers games will not touch over 20 points on either side. They just never do. Bro, you can put Pat Mahomes on the Ravens and Josh Allen on the Steelers. Ravens-Steelers are it's not allowed to be high-scoring matchups. But what I will say, 1, Matt Canada needs to be arrested. We knew that already. 2, George Pickens is the best receiver of football. We also knew that already. Cook Marlon Humphrey. Come on now. We've been to that. 3, the Ravens receivers got to step it up, bro. The fact that I see people try to blame Lamar for this loss, granted, he threw a bad back shoulder fade. And I think he fumbled. But, the fumble's not on him. There's nothing he can do about that one.
Right.
Bro, the drops, don't get me wrong, I was happy. But, just watching it from a football aspect, I'm like, what
bad drops. Bad drops.
I heard, don't know how true this is. I forgot what show I was watching. It was I think it was Rex Ryan. He was yo, the coaches was having the receivers catch a rugby ball to practice catching with their hands. I don't know how true that is at all. I have no research on that. But if that is true, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. You're gonna catch this big ass rugby ball. There's a reason why when you're trying to catch a football, your hands was like this instead of actually making the diamond. If that's true, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But Ravens got to help my boy out, bro. The receivers got to do better. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's not acceptable. Eagles 23, Rams 14. Like I said, this duo between Cooper Kupp and Puka, both of them combined. Cooper Kupp had 12 targets. Puka had 11. I think Matthew Stafford is going to be able to feed the both of them pretty consistently. And they were able to rack up a lot of yardage on this Eagles secondary, but that brotherly shove, man, can't stop it. Stop it.
Yeah, man. Like I said, if the Rams are going to throw the ball so much that both of them will be fine. They're actually going to be a really good offense, really fun to watch. Tutu Atwell is also playing well, too. He's not going to go away. But Eagles just find a way to win these games, bro. At the end of the day, we keep saying, some of these wins are ugly, but they're winning. They're just finding ways to win the games, and that's all you can really say.
Bengals 34, Cardinals 20. They avoid starting 1-4, and Joe Burrow looks like he kind of has come to life. And hey, Jamar Chase said he was always open, and he proved it. 19 targets, 15 catches for $192 and 3 touchdowns. Yeah, it sounds like he's always open.
100%, man. Joe Burrow actually definitely did look like himself a little bit. Not even just off the fact that he had a good game. I seen him scramble a little bit, was
Right,
running
the
around.
mobility.
Mobility was there. If he's fully back, that's great for them, obviously. Super great for them. Jamar Chase, he's one of the best receivers in football, bro. This dude's just a mismatch, man. It's crazy.
Jets 31, Broncos 21. They took it to Sean Payton, who was talking smack about Nathaniel Hackett in the offseason. You could tell his team was definitely fired up to get their win, get this win for their offensive coordinator. And Denver looks awful. They look awful, bro.
Breece, man. My man, Breece. He's so good. He's so good. Just traded for Breece before the game. I knew he was going to go off. He's so good at football, man. So good. Finally off the pitch count. The Jets can make some noise. Not make some noise. I'll say they can stay afloat.
Yep.
If they can feed Breece the ball, defense plays well, Zach Wilson doesn't completely throw the game away. That's the recipe. For the Broncos,
I got the recipe. Hey, tank for Caleb.
Bro, they were already doing that.
Trade more. You traded Randy Gregory away. Hey, Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, clear the house out.
Yeah, you traded Patrick.
When I would like not to if I was a Broncos fan, like, because he's elite, but why? His team is bad, bro. His team is not good. Did Sean Payton even last after this year?
He has to. But my thing is, like, tank for Caleb sounds good, but you just paid Russ all of this money. And
at
like
what point
the contract,
do you not just cut him?
You can't cut him all. You know how much dead cap that's gonna be? I think it's like 80 mil something, bro. It's something ridiculous. That contract doesn't even kick in yet until next year, I think.
Hey, I don't know. What do you do, bro? What can you do?
Bro, honestly, at this point, I would bro, it's so bad, bro. I would still draft Caleb. I don't even care if I stay on the team, bro. Like, I'd still draft Caleb. Because he's untradeable. You cannot trade that contract at all. You cannot cut him. You are locked into this guy. Bro, I'd rather pay him that much money to coach Caleb up from the sideline. I don't care. And it's not even like it's all on him, but just it's not gonna work, bro. One of the worst trades in NFL history.
Yeah, it's looking like it. Last game here, we've got Chiefs 27, Vikings 20. Chiefs stay undefeated as Swifties. Vikings fall to 1-4, and Justin Jefferson sounds like pulls his hammy and may end up missing some time there. So tough for the Vikings right now. It's looking they're gonna have an interesting rest of the season, especially going into this offseason for big decisions in Minnesota.
No, it's not. Tank for Caleb. That's the best. Listen, bro, if you're not winning the bowl, tank for Caleb. I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you.
But they might be in a position to just get like Drake May or something.
Tank for Caleb. I will say, listen, because we say that all the time on here, this podcast. I want people to genuinely like believe me when I say this. The hype is legitimately real. Like, watching that dude play, like I don't think we ever genuinely talked about it. He's like that, like not just like super hype. He's a really good first overall pick. I've not seen a quarterback like this coming out of college ever in my lifetime. I've never seen this ever in my life. Like, dude's legitimately like a franchise changer. But as far as the Vikings, Justin Jefferson hurt. You guys already suck. Like, what even is what? I don't know.
Fumble issues, like everything could go wrong for this team, bro.
I mean, but honestly, it was. I'm not gonna say it was predictable, but the fact that everything that could go right went right last year is just. It just would make sense if they would come back to normal, like the turnovers, the one-score games. Now you're losing all of those, like, and it made sense. Like, they were 11-0 in one-score games last year. That's just impossible.
Not sustainable
at all. So it makes sense, and it got worse this year. Like, they've lost a lot of pieces on the defense that was already the worst in the league. Yeah, they're a bad team, bro. Super bad team.
Unfortunate, and they didn't get Jeddah signed to that extension because it sounds like he's just trying to figure out what the long term play is at quarterback because it can't be Kirk.
No.
So they need to figure that out. They need to figure that out before you end up with a star wide receiver, arguably the best wide receiver in football, wanting out. And
Yeah.
you had Diggs want out. You can't do that again, bro.
Yeah, man.
That is the rapid recap for Week 5 of the NFL season. Um, we're going to pivot here towards the end of the podcast to go through a little tier list, talk through the Eastern Conference as we are getting closer to the start of the NBA tip-off. We've got playoff basketball on right now. I'm keep peeking at the noties. Apparently, Wemby is
Playoff.
looking.
Oh, preseason basketball.
Yeah, I said playoff.
Yeah, I was like,
Oh,
oh, what? I missed something. I'm like, oh,
whoa, whoa.
yeah.
No, I'm talking about preseason. Wemby is out here 18 points in the first half, 7 of 10 from the field, 2 of 3 from 3 against Chet.
Mm.
Chet also has 21 points,
Oh,
7
damn.
to 10 from the field. They going at it. It sounds like I can't wait to watch the highlights from this one. So we're here. Tip off is right around the corner. So with that, we're gonna get into a little tier list with
NBA, man.
the new look Eastern Conference and walk through each tier. And we should start bottom to top because we're not gonna
For
have a
sure.
lot to say about these teams at the bottom. So we're gonna start with the teams that I'm gonna say I think are locks. Like there is no way they even make the play-in. Like these are the bottom 5 teams minimally in the league. I only have 3 teams here because I think there are a couple teams that like I think they could be lottery teams, but they could potentially make the play-in. These 3 teams I have here, I think there's no chance they make the play-in, and that is the Wizards, the Hornets, and the Pistons. As much as I like the Pistons and am big on their development, I think they're still a year away from really making any type of real noise. So yeah, I don't have a ton to say. I think it's pretty evident. Some people may think it's questionable with the Hornets because they've been a playing team twice in the past, but I just don't see them being better than some of the teams in front of them. With also, bro, their franchise. I don't know, bro. Some of these young teams, y'all got to get some like mentorship program
Nah, for real.
in the building, bro.
Yeah, I need some leadership in there, bro.
This man Kai Jones just tweeted today, "I have requested a trade," which is like it's like $150,000 fine. You can't even, you're not allowed to publicly request a trade. What is going on?
Bro, he's I think he's generally not all the way there, bro. Like
He
not
was
even he's legitimately like lost his mind.
no, and he was just like trying to expose the other centers in the locker room. He was like, or I think he's on Instagram talking about Mark Williams deficiencies and uh what's other Scott's deficiencies. Like it just something's not right there with him. That locker room has multiple other issues there.
Isn't he
Like
a rookie?
this is like his second or third year.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's weird. Yeah, he's lost his mind, bro. I don't know
Yeah,
what's up with him.
I don't know what's going on over there, but yeah, those are my 3 locks: Wizards, Hornets, Pistons. I think those will all be for sure lottery teams.
I actually only have 2. I only have the Wizards and the Pistons.
Mhm.
The Wizards to me are the worst team in basketball by far.
Yep.
Pistons, like you said, just a year away. Like I don't see them. Like I don't think even K coming back is jumping that win total up by what 10, 15 wins, not at all. So I still think
Yeah.
they're a lottery team. But I still have the Hornets. I put them in possible playing because I am one of those people that think like well, healthy LaMelo. I do think Brandon Miller is a good player. I think like obviously him playing with LaMelo rather than those terrible point guards that he had in the summer league
Mm-hmm.
is actually going to help. Um, I like Mark Williams a little bit. I think they'll be. I think they'll be fine. I would not be surprised at all if they're in a lottery, but I just gave them the benefit of the doubt a little bit.
That's fair. That's definitely fair. All right, so I'm gonna list. These are my teams that I have in the plan or like fringe playoff, like teams I think would finish anywhere between like 7 to 10, most likely. That's the Hawks, the Raptors, the Bulls, the Nets, and the Magic. Um, I think if I had to pick one of these teams to bump into like a playoff lot category, or like I think even if they do make the play in, like they're making the playoffs, I probably would honestly feel most comfortable with the Hawks. I was intrigued by what I saw with Quinn Snyder the back half of the season. I'm intrigued to see how this team looks without John Collins, with more time for Jalen Johnson. I think Double O is going to be getting more love, which is definitely needed. I think he's the long-term plan there at center, so maybe they can move off Capella at some point in the season as well. Trae Young looked great in that Boston series last year, so I think there was stuff was starting to click between this roster and how Quinn Snyder views everything. So I'm excited to see that team off of a full offseason. So I think if I had to put them in order, I think this is the closest team to being a playoff lock in this tier. But those, what is that, 5 teams are who I have in that kind of play-in fringe playoff team category.
So name it again. You had the who?
I have the Hawks, the Raptors, the Bulls, the Magic, and the Nets.
Okay, got you. I have I already talked about the Hornets. I have them here instead of lottery. I have the Raptors, Bulls, Nets, and Magic. The only difference is I had the Hawks in locks, just because, like you said, I think they like showed a little bit of promise later in the season, and I just believe in Trae Young. I think that he
Right.
can. I think that he's gonna make them a lock to make the playoffs. Like, I don't think it's gonna be like 5th, 6th seed or not like that. I think it's gonna be like 7th seed, 8th seed. But I mean, I guess that obviously that's technically still the play in, but
Yeah,
you see what I mean? Like,
we saying the same thing. I think if
yeah,
they make the play-in, they're making the playoffs.
right. So yeah, I put them in locks a little bit, because like you said, I think they're the best of those teams here. But yeah, there's not really much more to say. The Raptors, the Bulls are in that meh like
Mm-hmm.
range. The Nets have young players, but I mean, still, I just think they're young. Um, I mean, Mikal Bridges is solid, like as a one, but like I don't think he's gonna like carry you nowhere. And the
They
Magic
need.
is,
I was gonna say the Nets need a playmaker.
yeah, legit, yeah, exactly. So, and then the Magic is fun and young, but still
Not
not a
there
lot.
yet.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: are you moved by the Raptors if Scotty Barnes is like their primary ball handler this season?
Am I moved? No, I still think they're a meh team. Like, I don't know. The Raptors to me always they just have no direction. Like, they're just there. Like, there's nothing exciting to me about the Raptors that can make me think, oh yeah, they're really gonna contend. They're never gonna be one of those teams that is just sucks. So like, even if he's that, like, yeah, they have length, they're tall, they're athletic, but
Mm-hmm.
they just don't have enough. Like, I don't know what it is. They just don't have enough. Maybe if
They,
they went there, like the rumors.
yeah, they this roster is, I mean, like set up and constructed how Nick Nurse liked, and they always were able to play above average defense because of it, because they're so lengthy and switchable across the board. But it's like I'm interested to see with how this looks without Nick Nurse, because I think my gut would be Masai is waiting to see what this team looks like 20-25 games in before he makes any harsh decisions. Because if they come out and they are hooping, then he might sit tight, whatever. But like if they come out kind of as we're expecting, like a meh team similar to last year, I think he'll probably start pushing the buttons on. Like, let's get rid of some of these guys. Let's consolidate. Let's get some assets,
Yeah.
and like rebuild a little bit around some of the youth that we have here and guys like Scotty. Because I think even in his like media day presser, he like was pretty like blunt with the team. Was like he felt like guys were playing selfish. He didn't think guys were playing as a team. He thinks that was a big reason why they underachieved last year. And so I think he's probably going to give it 20-25 games. And if this team is, I mean, like below 500, I would not be surprised if we see not necessarily a full fire sale, but OG moved,
Shake something up.
Siakam moved. Like some's gotta change in Toronto for sure.
Yeah, I can see that. That makes sense. I mean, it's better than staying in mediocrity.
Definitely, because like you said, them and the Bulls are in that no man's land spot where y'all are good enough to make the playoffs, but y'all are not good enough to win a playoff series. And if you do, you're definitely not making it out of the second round.
Absolutely not.
So it's not a great spot to be in, especially not for multiple years. It was cool at first for the Bulls because they've been out of the playoffs for so long, but we've seen what this unit can do. It's unfortunate what's happening with Lonzo right now, but I mean, like, you're kind of like banking on guys like Patrick Williams or even like Kobe White to take this pretty big leap forward if you want this roster to take if you want your ceiling to be higher than it was last year. These are the type of people that have to take the step forward, because we know what you're going to get from Zach. You know what you're going to get from DeMar. You know what you're going to get from Vooch. You need Patrick Williams to turn into this, above average defender on the wing. He has to be a consistent 3-point shooter. Like, these like baby claw comparisons that people try to throw out there. Like, not that he needs to live up to that, but that kind of semblance of a strong 3-and-D guy, we would need to see that consistently. Kobe White would have to start lighting the world on fire off the bench. And I am not too high on these things happening for them to really move the needle more so than they already are a first round exit playoff team.
Same thing. Mediocrity, bro. Like, nothing. They don't move me. Like, I don't like the mediocre teams, bro. They don't move me, bro. Like, that's the worst position to be in sports in general, not just basketball, in sports in general.
Yeah. Let's get into the playoff locks, because as we get further up, I'm sure we'll have more to say. I have 4 teams here, which leaves I actually have 3 teams in my contender tier.
Okay.
Yeah. So the 4 teams I have here are the 76ers, the Cavs, the Knicks, and the Pacers.
Okay. Interesting. I have the Hawks. I bumped them up from the play-in. The Pacers, the Cavs, the 76ers, the Knicks, and the Heat. So, I'm curious. So that means you had the Heat in contenders.
I am giving them probably the most benefit of the doubt you can ever give an individual team. And I'm doing it because we've seen consistently now dudes overperform the level of talent that they have. They've been to the Eastern Conference Finals. What is it? 3 out of the last 4 years. They've made 2 finals trips. And last year's run was so insanely improbable. But like, after round 1, you can't say that teams were overlooking them. Like, you have to be aware after they beat the 1 seed.
Nah, bro.
It's like I have a ton of concerns. Obviously, they would be like, they are so fringe in that contender tier. Like, they are holding on by one finger in the contender tier. Because realistically, are they on the Bucks or Celtics level from an on paper perspective, or even what I'm expecting to see come playoff time? No. But like I said, I cannot take what I've seen the last 4 seasons from this team, this coaching staff, and not give them the benefit of the doubt. Because arguably for the same reason is why I have the 76ers not in the contender tier, when they've gotten better, right? Like, they made some moves. Like, they brought in Pat Bev, they brought back Paul Reed. Like, they did some things to address needs in the offseason. It seems like James Harden came back, and it's not as dramatic as I think we were expecting it to be. The fat suit definitely is not on. You've got the reigning MVP. You got a guy who should have probably been an all-star last year and is still one of, if not the best playmaker in the NBA. Like, all of these things are a recipe to be a contender. But for the same reason why I have the Heat there is why I don't have the 76ers there, because I've seen what both of these 2 guys have done in the playoffs their whole career. I cannot say that they're a contender and the Heat aren't if I know what Jimmy does when the chips are on the table, and I've seen what James and Joel do when the chips are on the table.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good point with about like basically take into account how they've been. I mean, that's a really good point. What I will say is the reason why I have the Heat not in contenders is because one, when I look at the contenders, I gotta just be honest with myself. Can I see any team other than the Bucks or the Celtics coming out of the East? The answer is no. I cannot see it. There's no chance in my mind. Two, the Heat got worse this season. I mean, this off season, like the Heat got worse because they were expecting, okay, we're gonna get Damian Lillard, so we're fine moving off of Gabe Vincent, losing Max Strus, we're fine losing these guys. So like the fact that they were all, and well, I guess three, they already were like, I'm not gonna say barely made it. Like I'm gonna give them their credit, but like they all definitely almost blew a 0-3 lead to the Celtics. Then they got smoked in the final. So it's like they made it. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm gonna give them their credit. They beat the 1 seed, cool, whatever. But it's like when you see all the stuff that it took to get there, like Giannis got hurt. Granted, they beat them when Giannis got back. I'm not gonna discredit them. Then it's like they like squeaked past the Celtics when they looked like they were about to smoke the Celtics. Then they get smoked in the final. So you take that into account and the fact that they got worse this offseason. That's why I feel like they just like I understand you got to take into account their past a little bit, but it's like they also got worse. So that's my only reasoning behind it. Now, again, can they get into the playoffs and then anything happens like it always does every single year with them? Like I don't know, the pixie dust happens again and they just start shooting 60% from three and Jimmy Butler's Michael Jordan. Yeah, sure, I can see it happening, but I don't think it will happen again. I just don't. And honestly, each time I keep counting them out, and even if they prove me wrong, I count them out again. That's just how it is, bro. Because like on paper and just like watching it, it just does not make sense how they keep pulling it off. So I'm just gonna keep doubting it, and just gonna keep proving me wrong. So I'll be fine in that aspect.
That is the exact reason why I put them in the contender tier.
Yeah.
It's been too many seasons where I'm like, bro, it's no way. It's no way. And then they do it. So it's like, you know what? I'm going to go in and I'm going to give y'all the benefit of the doubt. They go. Y'all got it.
That's as soon as they let you down. As soon as you give them the benefit of the doubt, that's when they let you. That's always how that happens in sports and in everything, bro. As soon as you know what, I'll give you credit. Boom. That's when you let us down.
Yeah. Let's talk about the Cavs a little bit because I think Vegas and FanDuel and DraftKings have them at the third highest projected win total behind the Bucks and the Celtics this upcoming season. And I think last year's playoff series against the Knicks is probably leaving a sour taste in a lot of NBA fans' mouth with how they view this Cavs team. But they definitely made moves to get better this offseason, bringing in guys like Max Strus, as well as what's his name, George Niang as well. So they got some additional shooting at their wing position, which is, I mean, their three has been the position which we have talked about before on this podcast with that needs to be addressed. They need to find a consistent person that they're comfortable playing there. I think Max Strus probably fits that really well, especially come playoff time. We saw what he was able to do now in this last finals run with Miami. So I think they definitely got better. We know what Donovan Mitchell can do in the regular season. It's really just going to come down to what this team looks like the next time we get to the postseason, because Jared Allen said it better than anybody else could. He thought that the lights were too bright. But with Jared Allen, with arguably one of, if not the best defensive player in the league, he has a case for it in Evan Mobley. What does his progression on offense look like next year? Even if it's not anything major, again, he's already right now one of the best defenders in the NBA with Darius Garland, with Donovan Mitchell. This is a team that I think, like you said, they're not in the same realm of team as the Bucks or Celtics, but they're going to be a very good regular season team. They have a good chance to legitimately be a 3 or a 2, or I don't know, things fall their way. They could mess around and beat a 1 seed just off of pure regular season
wins, yeah.
Right. But you're not going to put them above the top dogs in the East until, I don't know, they would really have to show me something in the regular season to make me feel comfortable that they could go out and beat a team like the Bucks or the Celtics in a 7-game series. And that's just going to be hard to do. It's going to be hard to do because I don't know if there's many teams in the NBA, period, that can really give either of those two teams a run for their money.
Yeah, I wouldn't put them in that category. Like I said, I don't think, if I'm just being honest with myself, I don't think there's any people that should be in the contenders but the Bucks and the Celtics, from my opinion. But as far as the Cavs, my whole thing with them is it all falls on the development of their younger players. Like Evan Mobley, does he take that step offensively? Obviously, like you said, he's always one of the best defenders in the NBA. But like, also, can he take that step into being a little bit more versatile on the defensive end rather than just like in the paint? But like, it to me, it's that, does he take that step offensively? And then what do they look like come playoff time? Because like you said, the lights was too bright for him. Can these young players use that experience that they had in this past playoffs to kind of like build off of that and then not be kind of shell shocked and like get punched in the mouth by the Knicks? Because that's basically what happened. They pretty much got punched in the mouth last postseason, and like they didn't really know how to respond. Now I got faith in Donovan Mitchell. I know he can do that in the playoffs because we've seen what he does come playoff time. Darius Garland actually showed flashes, but again, the consistency. Evan Mobley offensively just wasn't fully there yet. So it's really just, can they take that step? And I'm definitely not saying they can't, because who knows? I mean, they could come out and Evan Mobley could be a whole different player offensively. Darius Garland could be super consistent. They mesh well. He meshes well with Donovan Mitchell, and they could look like a really good team coming out of the East. So, I mean, like I said, I wouldn't put them in that contenders, but if there was like a tier between contenders and locks, they'd be there. Whatever
I
that
think,
tier is,
yeah.
they'd
And
be
I
there.
think they would, honestly, they'd probably be the only team I'd put there.
Oh yeah, I'll put them over every other team in this list. I think they're the
Right.
best team in this list, like in this locks list for me.
Yeah, I
So
agree. I also want to touch on the Knicks a little bit, because they're, didn't make too many moves coming out of last season. I don't think they necessarily needed to. I think that with kind of how it shifted later in the year, with from going from Julius Randle being the primary focus of the offense to Jalen Brunson, then we also saw what Brunson was able to do as that number one guy in the playoffs. Arguably gave Miami their biggest test, from an individual player perspective in in the Eastern Conference run that they had. Obviously, the Celtics took them to 7 games, but Brunson was backpacking in that series against the Heat.
facts.
And this team, I here's my question. If you are the Knicks, what do you do with Julius Randle?
I said traded him. I've been said trade him, but that was before you gave up Obi Toppin. So I don't know. Because to me it's like, yeah, you're getting an all NBA level player, you're getting an all star player, but come postseason he is nothing like that. Nothing. Like absolutely nothing like that. So, and you've talked about it before. The body language is like his whole demeanor. It's like he just doesn't seem like a guy I'd even want on the team. Like no disrespect to him as a person, but just going off of how he acts, especially come this postseason or come in the postseason. I don't know. I wouldn't. It's something I would rather not deal with, bro. Honestly, because all the regular season stuff is cool. It's nice, but come postseason, all that means absolutely nothing. What are you doing for me when like we need you the most? And it's nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, I would be interested to see like what type of returns they could get. Um because I'm trying to think of what a lineup, like what that would look like. And you could potentially run RJ at the 4 in some, spurts, and like you've got gritty guys like Josh Hart who play above their size, and then you kind of have, Mitchell Robinson and Hartenstein to kind of hold things down for you there in the middle. Um, I think that might be a little bit too small, but
That is very small. Him at the 4.
yeah, but like this team is so good with Jalen Brunson operating as that top guy. And it's like if you can get a decent return for Julius Randle and like maybe get a guy that you could slot in there at the 4, maybe another like role playing piece because they're gonna move off of Evan Fournier anyway because I mean he feels like his talent is being wasted. I think is what he said by Thibodeau and that staff there in New York. Like Miles McBride made steps. IQ was a 6-man of the year candidate. Like they've got pieces off the bench who are ready to make impacts now. It's like I would not be mad if you like didn't necessarily get a guy of Julius Randle's caliber in return, but were able to find like 2 or 3 players who you will be comfortable playing for you, in an 8 or 9 man rotation come playoff time. And like you just get off of him like that and like really like here you go, Jalen. This is your team. Like, let's go.
I'm with that. Yeah, like you said, you get multiple pieces to really build out the roster. Because, I mean, I guess, like I said, I was about to say because you're losing some firepower, but like come playoff time, it's like he don't give me nothing anyway. So I might as well get a role player that can come in and give me this pretty much the same production. Like his points drop dramatically, his efficiency goes down. So yeah, I mean, a Jalen Brunson led team basically seen it last postseason. Like he is that guy. He can step up in those type of moments. So as long as you give him like at least a solid supporting cast around him, like obviously they're not gonna be going to the championship or anything like that, like super contenders. But it'd be interesting to see. Like I'd actually like want to see what that would look like. And
Yeah.
then actually RJ played some solid games this past postseason. Like they had some guys that played well, like they stepped up. I think IQ didn't play that great though, if I'm remembering
He
correctly.
didn't, but RJ had a couple of games and moments where it was like, oh, okay,
Right.
we're seeing the development, we're seeing it come together in the playoffs. So I almost forgot they did bring in DiVincenzo as well.
I did forget about that.
Right, so bro, this team
I like
is
him. That's a
they
solid pickup.
are deep at the guard spot. You're looking at Brunson. If you're counting RJ as a 2, RJ, DiVincenzo, they've got Quentin Grimes, Josh Hart, Miles McBride, and IQ. Like they have a lot of very quality guards, and all these guys can play, have different strengths, and they have a lot of good point of attack defenders for perimeter like guard play as well with guys like Quentin Grimes and Josh Hart. Like I would just really be interested to see what they could do if they got off of Julius Randle. I don't think it's the end of the world if they don't. Like I mean, clearly not. They already were a competitive second round team with him. But I think clear in a way, it needs to be a Jalen Brunson focused offense. They operate best when things are flowing through him. RJ Barrett, like I said, he had those moments in the postseason where it looks like stuff was really getting put together. If he can maintain that level of play, this Knicks team is, I mean, they're going to be a very, very solid and tough out like they were this past season with in the playoffs. So I'm interested to see how this team shapes up because I think Mitchell Robinson is also probably a top 4 at worst, pure rim protector in the league. So it's like that's part of the reason why I think you could get off of Julius and it wouldn't be too crazy because you've got somebody and like there on the back end who is so good at just covering up for his team's mistakes there at the rim. But even like I said, with that, bro, you got very quality perimeter defenders, so it's just the size thing that would come into play, which would be most exploitable in the playoffs. But for the regular season, at least, I think they could definitely benefit from going down that route.
Yeah, I can see that. And I just want somebody whose game meshes a little bit better with Jalen Brunson. I don't know. Julius Randle's game to me, I just don't really like it that much. Like, it's a ball stopper, in my opinion. It's just, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of Julius Randle, if I'm being completely honest. And then the
I
playoff
think
woes doesn't help.
a lot of Knick fans are, and I think they have valid reason to feel that way. Like
Yeah.
all of the antics and stuff aside, like just from a purely play perspective, just erratic sometimes, and the consistency is not there when it needs to be.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, so obviously the contender tier for me was Bucks Celtics Heat. For you is Bucks Celtics. Realistically, when we're looking at like tier wise and just talent, it's really just Bucks Celtics. It's
And
just those teams are competing for that top spot in the East.
bro, I'm not gonna lie, bro. Every single day I think about these two, I flip every single time of who I think is one. Like,
I am holding firm that I like Milwaukee more. It's not like by no crazy margin. I
yeah,
think the Celtics are right there, and I would never be like, yeah, I'm taking Bucks clearly in 5. Like, no, it's a very, very tough debate to figure out which one you think is the better team. And honestly, some of it just comes down to preference. Like,
bro, they played completely different.
mm-hmm.
But it's like, yo, bro, like, cause I just think about it, I'm like, all right, cool. This is my thought process. Every single day I think about this. This is my thought process. I'm like, yo, bro, Boston, JT, Jalen Brown. They got Drew. The perimeter defense is there. If Porzingis can stay healthy, like he's a solid enough rim protector, but brings so much versatility in the offense, or brings so much just a different type of offense to this Celtics team. And I literally think of all that, and I just be like, but Dame and Giannis. Like that's the only thing. That's
Right.
all I think about. I'll be like, but Dame and Giannis though.
But like that's the thing. That is exactly why I give the Bucks the slight edge, because it's like you can say that it's like we got Dame and Giannis, what a crazy dynamic duo, arguably the best duo. And it's like they still got Brooke, they still
Yeah,
got Chris,
Chris
they still
Middleton.
got Pat Connaughton, they still got Bobby Portis. They got Marjon Beauchamp, who I think is gonna, see an expanded role this year. And he's 6'7", lengthy defender, can be a guy that can come in spurts and be like an athletic, guy on both sides of the ball for you. And like low key, bro, Jay Crowder still on his roster. Like, I don't know why he didn't get play time last year, but like,
I say if he gets PT,
right, he should. Budenholzer's not there.
he's what they need though. Like, but that's my only worry about them is perimeter defense. Like if they
Right.
had like one guy in that 2 spot who was 3-and-D and I know could play solid defense, I'm like, no, it's them. Like, no question, in my opinion. Like that's
Yeah.
their only weakness, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like you said, they got Brooke and they got Giannis on the back end and Bobby Portis off the bench. So it's like, I mean, a lot of that can get cleaned up. So it's gonna be back and forth the whole year, in my opinion, though.
I think both teams have fair criticism in terms of their like depth, like being an injury or two away from being like, we're so struggling. But it's like, that's the reality when you put rosters together like this that are so high level. Like, it just is what it is. You have to sacrifice depth to be able to compile this level of talent.
I mean, the way I see stuff nowadays, bro, I'll be thinking, because like, I just think that you can say that about any team. Like, if a key player gets hurt on any team, they're worse. So
right.
it's like,
It's kind of a weak argument to make. Like, you really need to view it like almost the other way around. Not like if somebody got hurt, how would this team fare? But like with everybody healthy, who among this, like, because you can probably on both teams reliably pick like 6, maybe 7 guys. It's like, I know what I'm getting from them. You are playing 8 or 9 guys in the postseason. So it's like, of those 2 teams, you take away that top bucket of guys that you're comfortable with, who's going to be able to step up and fill that gap to be that 8th and 9th guy in that rotation when we're in the ECF, when we're in the NBA Finals, a guy that can come in and be like Christian Brown for the Nuggets, like somebody that can come in, play valuable minutes, hit big shots when needed to, play tough defense, rotate, just play good, solid team basketball and support your star cast. So to me, like, and that's why it's so neck and neck, because it's like I just listed off those guys on the Bucks that I think could be that 8th or 9th guy. Like when I look on the Celtics team, I'm looking at Delano Banton. I'm looking at O'Shea Brissett. I'm looking at J.D. Davis has been great in the G League for the last couple of years. Like, he might get a chance. Sam Hauser can shoot like crazy. Luke Cornett, Shivy Mikhailuk, like Lamar Stevens as well, coming over from the Cavs. And then we talked about Jordan Walsh previously, how he looked in summer league, just being at aggressor on the defensive side of the ball. He had moments where the shot was dropping. Like, they've got guys who have upside that looks like they could potentially step up and fill that role. And, you just need 1 or 2 of them to pan out. So it's very close. Again, I lean the slight edge to Milwaukee because, like I said, both things even. We're looking at high-powered rosters where we're comfortable with 6 or 7 guys. In that case, I'm going to give the edge to what I think is the more dominant duo in Dame and Giannis. And in terms of roster construction, we talked about it. I don't even know if I'm Joe Mazzulla, like where I attempt to scheme up defensively what we're about to see from Milwaukee. Like that's why I'm not a coach, because like I don't even know what you really do, because it seems like no matter what you do, you have like you're just picking your poison.
Yeah,
that's why I lean Milwaukee, but like it's tight, it's neck and neck. And I feel like that's great. It's going to be that way, I think, the entirety of the season. Even no matter where they end up in the regular season rankings, it's going to feel like it's a crash course for these two teams, hopefully meeting in the Eastern Conference Finals. And fingers crossed, everybody stays healthy. That'll be one of the best series we've seen, bro. Like, it'll be such a good series.
If they don't meet in the Eastern Conference Finals, I'm gonna be so mad, bro. I'm gonna be so pissed.
All right, and the only way that happens is, bro, the Heat come out of nowhere and smoke one of them in round 2.
And I'm going to be so like, bro. I'm tired of watching the Heat, bro.
But couldn't you see that happen though?
Yes, bro. That is the part that pisses me off. I'm tired of watching the Heat, who just like. I don't care what nobody. They're just not as good as these teams, but they are though in the same way.
Yeah.
Like it's
factually
so
on paper, I'm not hearing an argument that they are in the same stratosphere.
Right, but they just
they got
find
Spo,
a way.
They got Jimmy, they got Bam. That's all they need. That's all they need. They're gonna figure something out. They're gonna make it hard.
I do not want to watch them in the Eastern Conference Finals again. I don't. I'm sorry. I don't want to watch them. I don't care. Like I want to see Bucks, Celtics. That's just what I want to see. I don't care about.
I think
nothing
that's
else,
what
bro.
every NBA
I don't want to see Sixers, Cavs. I don't want to see none of them teams, bro. I want to see Bucks, Celtics.
That's what every NBA fan outside of Miami wants to see.
Yeah.
And Miami fans probably don't want anything more than to spoil that.
Yeah, and they're probably gonna use Dame not going there as motivation.
Oh yeah.
They're gonna find another undrafted guy who we've never heard of, could step right into the roles of the people they missed, and they're just not gonna miss a beat. Oh, it's so gross. I hate it. It's so good for basketball, but I hate it.
It is. Like, even with the rookies that they have, like Hawkes
about to come out and hoop.
He got flashes. Jovic was, he had his moments in the World Cup playing for Serbia, who made it all the way to the finals without Jokic. Like, who knows, bro? Who knows? Like, that is this conversation right here is, again, the exact reason why I had to keep them barely in the contender tier, because it would not shock me if whatever we're about to get into the playoffs and we're like, this Heat team is not bad, bro. And it's like, now that they're here, you put them up against anybody with the best coach in the NBA, like, they've got a fighting chance. So I cannot count them out. I can't.
Sick, bro. So sick. It's so sick.
It's the Eric Spoelstra advantage more than anything.
Really? They got the best coach.
Yeah.
That is the thing. They're gonna have like a coaching diff in every
single series. He is just gonna schematically make it so difficult for the other team.
I think it's funny too. I randomly think about this too. If they went to the Heat, bro, these conversations are over. The Heat are the favorites, and it's not even close. Because that means Drew would still be on the Bucks, and we would take the Heat over the Bucks. The Heat just beat the Bucks without Dame, so it's like, then that means Drew would have never went to the Celtics. So that means Heat are automatically better than those two teams,
right?
Plus Spo, plus Heat culture. They're winning the chip. Like,
that sounds like a championship team
immediately, bro. And so honestly, it's probably better for basketball that he didn't go there, because we would just be like, all right, Heat lock. They're coming out of the East.
He started a domino effect that I think is not done yet, because I would hope that Miami is like, they got to do something. They need to still make a move.
Well, what move though?
I don't know. I ain't Pat Riley, but y'all need to figure. Y'all got to do something. Yeah, these teams have gotten too far ahead of you on paper. I think the gap is like, it's too crazy right now. Heat culture can't be this strong, can it?
Man, like
I don't
that's
know. That's what we
crazy.
said last year, though. They made the
It is
NBA Finals, so I
that
don't
is,
know.
that is true. Who knows, man?
Yeah, but I'm excited. I think that the Eastern Conference is really, like, if we're being honest with ourselves, a 2-team race with the Heat sprinkled in there to maybe potentially be a home wrecker and shake things up there. But it's the Bucks, it's the Celtics, and everyone else is like looking up at them, trying to figure out what they can do. Because
Facts.
I don't know who else could match up against that team and really either of them in like personnel wise have an answer.
Facts.
Like, all right, we were just talking about like the Cavs. Vegas wise has them at the potentially being the 3rd seed. If you are the Cleveland Cavaliers, like, how do you match up against the Bucks right now?
You don't.
Who's guarding Damian Lillard?
I was about to say you have no one to guard Dame. You can't like. There's no matchups. You can't. You're not, bro. Dame, Giannis, pick and roll. That's all. I don't have to call a play. I don't. I could probably coach that, and they'll probably be good. I'll be like,
Five
bro.
out.
I'll be like, bro.
You come here. Right?
Brooke, get in that corner. Chris, get over here. Whoever the hell you want at the 2, go over there. Dame, Giannis, PNR. You're not sagging off of Brooke, Chris, or the 2. You're not sagging off of Dame. You cannot have Giannis 1-on-1 roll to the basket. It's never mind. I'm back on the Bucks. I'm back on the
And
Bucks.
bro, it just came into my head too. Was just like, how wild would it be? I feel like everybody's been talking about Dame Giannis pick and roll, Dame Giannis pick and roll. I don't know. We haven't even thought about any type of inversion. Giannis being the ball carrier or the ball carrier. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, whoa, that's really crazy.
but Giannis being the ball handler and like about a little guard screen action into a little. What about some DHO action downhill for Giannis? Like, there's so much that this, like, just the 2 of them gravity wise are going to put from a stress perspective on defense. Like,
so much you could do, bro.
Right.
It's so much you could do, bro. And it's like, I'm very, you know what? Not in the Eastern Conference Finals, but I'll be okay with the Heat playing him in the 2nd round because I want to see what Spo does.
Right, because he gonna give whoever they play next, he gonna give them the formula.
Exactly. So I'm like, you know what? Y'all could play in the 2nd round, and if you beat them, Spo is the greatest coach of all time, and Jimmy Butler he's in the Hall of Fame.
If the playoffs had its own Hall of Fame, yeah, put that man's statue in there
Easily, 100%. Better than a lot of your favorite players in the playoff time. It's crazy.
100%. Hemi buckets, man.
Oof.
We here, bro. NBA season is really, really, really close.
We're back, baby.
We're back. Full effect.
As I'm watching Christian Watson score an 80-yard touchdown. Oh no, he got tackled at the 5. Wow.
Oh yeah, need that for fantasy purposes.
That's what you got him on your team.
No, I'm playing against him.
Oh god, yeah, he
almost
scored the 80-yard touchdown. He almost scored an 80-yard touchdown, bro. You might have been chalked.
That'd have been. No, I still got the gap is crazy. I'm still up by 20. Oh no, I'm only about like 18. Oh, that would have been actually kind of detrimental. Romeo Dobbs doesn't have a catch. Hello?
Yeah. Both these quarterbacks kind of suck right now. I've been like it's been like in my peripheral this whole time. I've been like this low-key watching. Both these quarterbacks kind of suck.
Yeah.
Jacoby Myers been hooping though. I'm not gonna lie. But it is that's a wild horse collar. But watch party off the glass Monday Night Football watch party.
Bro, I'm telling you, bro, when we get big, we on Twitch with it. We're on Twitch for all the events.
For sure. Not even a question, bro.
Twitch or what's the other one?
Kick?
Nah, the one where you could put the broadcast on the screen. Pick a side be doing it sometimes. I can't remember the name. It's It's some like website where it's like you can like put the broadcast on the screen, and then like you could just do audio, or you can have your video up at the same time. And so like you get like a Twitch chat. You could like bring viewers on to like talk at the same time. It's kind of fire.
That sounds like Discord. That's what it
It's
sounds like.
basically is what it is. But yeah, no, we definitely gonna need to get into that. You got anything else you want to touch on before we get out of here?
Nah, man, I'm sick as shit, man. I just yeah, I ain't got nothing to say, man. I'm excited for basketball. I'm mad I gotta wait a whole nother week for football to come back. I love Sundays. Sundays is the best, bro.
7 hours of commercial-free football, bro. Every time I hear that,
I was pissed, bro.
it's go.
I couldn't breathe the whole Sunday, bro. I was sick the whole Sunday. I'm sitting there watching football. I can't even really enjoy it. So, yeah, man.
That'd be the worst.
Yeah, I ain't got nothing to say, man.
And that's going to do it for episode 34 of the Off the Glass podcast. As always, we appreciate you for listening. If you made it through the whole episode, you're a real one as always. If you're on YouTube, be sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel, then head over to the audio platforms. Drop us a 5-star rating. Pre-download this show. We are probably going to take a slight hiatus. We'll not be back early next week. We'll probably be later next week. So just stay tuned for all that. But I said we're getting closer to these consistent split episodes where we're doing half football, half NBA, because the NBA season is right around the corner. And we're going to be bringing you all things NBA coverage. So we appreciate you as always for listening, and we out. Peace.
Yes, sir.